We're on the last episode of Season 2 of Black Mirror. This one's called White Christmas. It is indeed a Christmas episode. In fact, it's a Christmas special. This was a one-off special that appeared on Channel 4, and it was actually the last episode to appear on Channel 4 in Britain before it was picked up by Netflix. It started in Season 3. From then on out, it's a Netflix series with a much higher budget and a lot more American actors. But this one is still set in Britain.
To Christmas work parties. All the attractive women have been surrounded by regulation office ass clowns for the whole year. And
our two main characters are Matt, played by Mad Men's Don Draper himself, John Hamm, and Joe, played by Rafe Spall, who was in movies like Hot Fuzz, Prometheus, and more recently Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And both actors do a really good job, but of course, John Hamm is the more recognizable, and I think the better actor of the two. And these two guys, John and Matt, have lived in a cabin with each other for 5 years. Interesting. And Matt, played by John Hamm, starts up a conversation about how he ended up in this cabin and talks about his previous jobs. Now, this is an anthology show within an anthology show, so we get 3 separate stories, but they do all tie together. And really, the last story brings everything together and is really the main one. And I think one of the flaws of this episode, even though it's very, very highly rated, and I think it's good as well, is that the first 2 quote-unquote anthology stories, I think, are a bit of a waste. The third one is so good that involves around people blocking each other in real life. Like, you hit a block button on social media. What if you could do that in real life? You just block people in real life. But the first one involves around John Hamm talking about his previous job, where he has these ZIs, which are implants. They'll let you see what someone else is seeing.
any observations so far helping our man out here?
Sitting on it.
Probably means they've given up.
She always gives them the brush off. They're regular types. She's an outsider with zero in common.
Confidence. Just talk to her.
I don't really get parties.
Don't worry, I never hit on anyone.
Really?
Ask her how long she's worked there.
So how long have you worked for?
Mags and Frank.
Mags and Frank.
Similar to what we saw on the entire history review. And he uses these ZIs to help a guy get laid. So I guess this is supposed to be a light-hearted way to ease us into the episode as it gets darker towards the end. But I think this story is kind of lame. We just see this awkward, dorky guy trying to get this girl to like him, and it doesn't really work out. And this entire time, Matt is giving him advice through this eye implant. So he's sitting outside in his creepy van in the mystery machine with a bunch of screens of other people that are giving this guy advice on really how to woo the chicks. We've seen this before, and I don't think it's very engaging. I think a bad way to kick off the episode, especially when it gets so much better from here. But this is a way for them to ease you into it and for you to realize what type of guy that Matt really is. He's a bit sleazy.
Got up to whatever they got up to. Did you carry on watching through his eyes?
What do you think I am?
Not above lying in order to help this guy out, but also kind of a genius too that he can't create this technology. Then we get a much shorter episode with another job from Matt himself. Man, this guy Matt is talking a lot about himself. Whereas these digital clones of people that are stored in an object that looks like an egg that he uses as his personal assistants or slaves. Once again, not the most engaging story. I guess I like this a little better than the first one, but it's quite short. It really leads us into the main story.
Yeah, taking a nap. In the bedroom. Top right.
I'm not some sort of push-button toaster monkey.
Would you prefer to do nothing?
Well, I'm not doing this.
What that is like. 3 weeks sound good? What about now?
Please, don't do that again. Please.
12:30. Lunch at Barney's Brasserie with Annabelle. 3 p.m. Draconape Gallery Private View, Shoreditch.
So, do I consider skipping these two? No. The whole episode is 74 minutes. Now we're 40 minutes in, and we have 2 kind of mediocre side stories. But now we get to the real meat. And now it's time for Don Draper himself to shut up. He's already given his 2 stories. Now it's time for the other guy. Mr. Joe Potter to give his backstory. And his is so much more interesting, and I think the entire episode should have just been this story. And Joe explains how he was blocked by his fiancée, Beth, while they were fighting over the decision to have an abortion or not. Beth wanting the abortion, and Joe himself not wanting her to get it.
A baby, a pregnancy, not now, not right now, I can't.
My God, you'll be an amazing
No, I'm
mom.
27. I'm not ready.
Well, who's ever ready?
It's not.
You see, in this futuristic universe, you have an ability to block people, but actually it goes further than that. The government itself can actually block people. So let's say you abuse your wife or something. She can go to the court and she can have you completely blocked out of her life. So you appear, as this shows, as this kind of fuzzy image. You can't really see what the person looks like, and as they walk around society, people see that this person is blocked. So it's a shaming tactic. And when I first saw this image, I thought, aha. No, literally, aha. The music video from Take On Me. And you could be blocked forever, or just for a temporary amount of time. But after this fight he has with his fiancée, Beth really doesn't want to have anything to do with him. It basically doesn't really give him a reason why, and he's suspicious. So he does a little sneaking around.
Until... Well, I had to take a closer look. And there's her dad with our baby.
Legal blocks cover offspring, too.
I should also mention there's a lot of references to previous episodes in this one because it's a special and because Charlie Brooker himself explained that he wasn't sure where the future of the show was going to go after this, since it wasn't going to be on Channel 4 and it wasn't picked up by Netflix at this point. Eventually it did get picked up by Netflix and they did more seasons, but he throws in a lot of references which makes some people think that these Black Mirror universes are connected. I don't really think that's the case. I think they just kind of reference some older technology, and Black Mirror tends to be stuff that's in the near future. I always think these episodes take place around 20 to 30 years in the future. However, there are huge exceptions to that. Something like Metalhead is a complete post-apocalyptic episode. 15 Million Merits, that's a complete different universe that seems like it takes place really far in the future where people ride bikes. For a lot of the more normal episodes, this one, The Entire History of You, seems like it takes place around 30 years in the future. And Charlie Brooker himself just really loves the idea of eye implants. He used it in Entire History of You, he uses it here again. The idea that you get an implant in your brain and you can take pictures, you can record video. In this episode, you can have other people see what you're seeing through your own eyes. And he uses that technology again in other episodes. He just really likes that idea. I'm not sure these episodes are necessarily connected. Some just use some of the same technology, and the pregnancy test looks just like the one in the episode of Be Right Back. Is that a reference, or is this in the same universe? I think it's more of a reference. They go to karaoke, and Beth sings Anyone Who Knows What Love Is from 15 Million Merits. We see the symbol that was used in White Bear on this episode, so he just does a lot of references. I think this might have been the last episode. Probably another reason why they throw in 3 stories at one, and this one really tries hard. And it's an episode that I've seen twice, and it's always good to watch these episodes twice. I have to do it because I'm reviewing them, but Charlie Brooker leaves a lot of clues. You know, I've learned watching these episodes that whenever he has a relationship that's not working out and he keeps cutting to another ancillary character, usually a friend, which he does in this episode with his Asian friend, Beth's co-worker. He constantly cuts to this guy, kind of randomly, and then cuts back to Joe's girlfriend Beth, then cuts back to the Asian guy again. You know what's going on. There might be some cheating afoot. And there's a twist in this, and I'm going to ruin it because that's what I do here.
Hello, darling.
I like how when he realizes that it's not his daughter, it's like a horror movie. He's like, ding, 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 ding. The kid's Asian. And they do try another twist after this, which I guess I won't exactly ruin, involving Mr. Don Draper himself. But I think White Christmas is going to get a 7 out of 10. As I mentioned before, the last story is super good, and they should have just continued with this. A father who gets his kid essentially taken away from him, and then realizes it was never his kid this entire time, and yet he's stalking his former girlfriend in kind of a creepy way, but it's also kind of understandable because it's the only way he could even sort of see his daughter, is, I think, relatable for a lot of people. And this is a good episode, but I don't think it's the best. Now let's look at some reviews because this gets such high ratings, so maybe I'm missing a little bit of something. Let's check it out. Now, if we see right here on IMDb, White Christmas has a 9.1. That is astronomically high. We can look at the ratings of the episodes we previously have covered. National Anthem got a 7.6, 15 Million Merits 8, Entire History of You 8.5, Be Right Back and White Bear, both 7.9. Waldo Moment, the lowest so far because it sucked, 6.5. And now 9.1. So let's see why this is so high. 10 out of 10, the most cruel and most typical Black Mirror. Like I said at the beginning, this film has a lot of good twists, and the ending part was the biggest. It turned out that the whole conversation, no spoiler, between Matt and Joe wasn't real at all. It's VR. Everything's VR. Yeah, a lot of people commented that this is a very cruel episode. I think there's crueler ones. It's just that it ends on a bit of a downer. It starts as kind of a comedy and then ends on a downer, so people forget that there's a lot of lighthearted moments. 8 out of 10. I find it heartbreaking. I just find it heartbreaking that Joe's character had to suffer being unceremoniously blocked by the person he deeply loved, his girlfriend, whom he remained devoted to for years. Imagine the commitment to wait for Christmas every year just to be able to see her from a distance. Yeah, just do a little stalking during Christmas. Come on, we've all done it. Being cheated upon by her. Being cheated by his workplace friend. Being cheated out of an offspring. Man, this guy's getting cheated on. Being treated unfairly by his father-in-law. Being cheated. Okay, this guy keeps saying cheated. We get it. Being cheated on by this newer workplace friend who used him to save his own skin and finally being punished for accidentally killing someone. Another spoiler. Almost in self-defense. He never really had a chance. I really hope that in an alternative universe, he gets out of prison and comes to terms with the fact that these people in his life had been garbage and that he is better off without them and that he finds peace. Man, this person's a big Joe fan. I mean, I thought he was a good character too. He does go a little buck wild at the end. Yeah, he does kill someone. Not his fake daughter. Well, I don't think Joe's getting out of prison for a very, very, very long time. He's got the old first-degree murder on him. 7 out of 10. I just couldn't believe the story. What is going on with society in this episode? Question mark. I could believe the previous stories of Black Mirror. They're kind of crazy, but they could happen. We've done worse things in this actual world, like Nazis. But blocking someone like that, that's just mad. Worse than Nazis? I don't think so. That other thing of creating an AI that's actually you and make a slave. Dude, before doing that, they could create, this sounds like something I would say. Before doing that, they could create a machine with no feelings that learns about you. And just that, no feelings, no suffering. Just Super Siri or Cortana Mega Plus. Is that a Halo reference? I'm going to look that up. Cortana. Ah, it is. I'm a genius. Yeah, I thought that too in the second story. They make this kind of AI creature suffer when they really didn't have to do that. Just to be like a maid. And it's just mad to have a person inside there and thinking, it's not real. I would really feel bad. Yeah, that was kind of the point. That was unnecessary for him to torture this quote-unquote fake person. And blocking someone... Also, is that the best way to get a housekeeper? Is to, like, torture them for weeks on end? Why not just get, like, a fake robot that'll actually listen to you? And blocking someone to the entire world. Are you kidding? How is he going to live? That's worse than jail. I don't know. This episode is so unreal. People are very angry that he got blocked. Actually, this person says, how is he going to live? That's worse than jail. Well, he does end up going to jail, and I think he would disagree with you. Next up, we're going to do the episode Nosedive. Episode 1 of Season 3. Season 3 is absolutely amazing. It's the first season to appear on Netflix, and they up the budget, they up the acting, and Charlie Brooker is firing on all cylinders. So Nosedive is going to be fun to cover. It's a happy episode. Check out our playlist for other series that we've covered, like Tales from the Dark Side, Mr. Science Theater 3000, Cowboy Bebop, Pet Shop of Horrors, Monsters and Fear Itself, and of course Black Mirror. Thanks a lot.